You ever get that feeling, that little itch in the back of your mind that maybe everyday reality, this sort of 3D world we live in with,
Yeah.
floors and meetings, it's just the tip of the iceberg, like the lobby of something way, way bigger.
Oh, definitely. That feeling. It drives so much, doesn't it? That search for meaning, that sense, there's a deeper structure to things.
Right. But it's also, well, it's easy to get swamped today, isn't it?
Totally. You're looking for this deep, connected knowledge, maybe something bridging science and, I don't know, metaphysics.
Mm.
But instead, you just drown in articles and data bits. You get all the pieces, but no real blueprint for how they fit.
Exactly. And that's really what we want to tackle today. We're going to take a really deep dive into a fascinating modern attempt to build that bridge. It's called the Aevum paradox theory,
Yeah.
put together by Sanity.
Yeah, and it's not just, philosophical musings. It's presented as a pretty radical structural idea about reality itself. It boils down to three core pillars, really. First, that vibration they use the symbol, nu, nu. Nu is the fundamental constant, not mass, not energy, vibration.
Huh. Okay, vibration first.
Second, consciousness isn't just a byproduct of complexity, it's the actual ordering principle. It's what tells the vibration how to arrange itself.
The ordering principle. Got it.
And third, time. Well, time isn't a straight arrow pointing forward. It's a multidimensional spiral.
A spiral. Okay, that's a lot to chew on already. So over the next, say, 25 minutes or so, we're going to really unpack this, how this theory just completely reframes matter, time, identity.
And we'll try to ground it, right, using some really surprising new science, like that experiment in Italy where they froze light and ideas about 3D time.
Yeah, and also connected to something we all experience what the theory calls the 2 million kilometer per hour paradox, that feeling of being still while hurtling through space.
Right. It uses that as a kind of experiential anchor. So yeah, let's dive in.
Okay, so before we even get to Ivan's specific ideas, we probably need to set the stage, right? Because modern physics itself, it's already pushed us way beyond a simple, single clockwork reality.
Absolutely. You can't really appreciate a theory proposing a layered reality unless you realize science has, in a way, already kind of broken the container of a single universe. It's created this philosophical space, this vacuum that Aevum tries to fill.
So where does that scientific foundation start, the sheer scale of it all?
Yeah, let's start with the scale. Pillar one of the science background. Eternal inflation. This is Alan Guth's big idea, and it completely reframes the Big Bang.
We usually think of the Big Bang as the beginning, right?
Right.
One single event.
Exactly. But eternal inflation says that initial crazy expansion, the inflationary bit, it didn't just happen once and stop. It's like an ongoing process. It never fully ended everywhere.
So the universe isn't just one explosion. It's still exploding. Or inflating.
Kind of, yeah. The underlying field or substrate is still inflating, and this inflation keeps spawning new regions. Think of them as bubble universes.
Bubbles. I like the source's analogy of a cosmic froth. Like boiling water, maybe.
That's a great image. Each bubble is a whole new universe, a separate space-time popping into existence from this eternally inflating background.
Wow.
And here's the really wild part. Each bubble could potentially have totally different laws of physics.
Different laws, like gravity works backwards or light speed is different.
Could be.
Mhm.
Maybe the fundamental forces are different strengths or don't exist at all. Our entire known universe with its specific rules is just one bubble in this vast, maybe infinite cosmic froth still being generated.
Okay, my head hurts already. That's the spatial scale, potentially infinite universes. But then there's the time aspect, or maybe the possibility aspect.
Right.
Pillar 2, many worlds.
Right. Hugh Everett's many worlds interpretation, or MWI. This tackles the quantum measurement problem.
The mystery of why quantum stuff seems to be in multiple states at once until you look at it. Superposition.
Yeah, the particle exists as a wave of possibilities spinning up and down, being here and there until measurement seems to force it to choose one state.
But Everett said, it doesn't choose.
Exactly. That was his radical idea. The wave function never actually collapses. Instead of choosing one outcome, the entire universe splits.
Let's.
Yeah. At every quantum event, every point where there's a probabilistic choice, reality itself branches. So the electron spins up in this universe, and it spins down in a newly created parallel universe.
Every single time. For every particle interaction everywhere.
According to MWI, yes, it's constantly happening. Every decision you make, every random quantum fluctuation, it spawns countless diverging realities.
Okay, wait. Combine that with eternal inflation.
Yeah.
So we have maybe infinite bubbles spawning, and within each bubble, An almost infinite number of timelines branching off constantly.
Now you're getting the scale. It goes from huge to, well, words like staggering don't really cut it. Functionally infinite seems about right.
That's a
And that is the philosophical precipice where mainstream physics kind of leaves us. It presents this almost incomprehensibly vast, multiplying reality, which forces the question.
Is it just chaos? Just random branching and bubbling?
For us to experience the kind of order and structure we do experience, does there need to be something else, some kind of underlying connection, some ordering principle operating across all this vastness? And if so, what could that possibly be?
Right. The sheer scale revealed by science almost demands a metaphysical answer to how it all holds together, which I guess leads us directly into the core ideas of Aevum.
Exactly. That search for the connecting thread, the ordering principle. That's where Aevum makes its first big move. It says we need a fundamental shift in what we consider primary. Forget mass, forget energy for a moment.
Okay.
The theory posits that vibration, frequency, is the actual prime constant of existence. Everything else comes from that.
So existence isn't made of stuff, fundamentally. It's made of shaking.
Yeah.
Frequencies.
In essence, yes. It's a frequency-based reality, not a substance-based one. And if that's true, then mass and energy must be, well, consequences or expressions of vibration.
How does that work? This is where they bring in Einstein,
Yeah.
right? But they change the equation.
They do. It's bold, maybe controversial. We all know Evans 222, energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. Aevum flips it or reframes it as 1u mc22.
So frequency equals mass times the speed of light squared.
Right.
Okay, hold on. If frequency is mass times this huge number, 22 dollars, what does that mean for matter, for this desk in front of me?
It means the desk isn't fundamentally solid mass. It's a highly localized, incredibly complex and stable pattern of vibration. Its mass is just how we perceive the intensity and structure of that vibrational pattern.
So matter and energy become just different states of vibration, like ice and water are states of H2O.
That's a great analogy. Matter is like condensed vibration, high-frequency, tightly organized patterns. Energy is perhaps a looser, faster state of that same fundamental vibration. Frequency is the foundational signature, as the source puts it.
And what about 2 in this version? In MC202, it's kind of a conversion factor between mass and energy.
Here, it takes on a much grander role. It becomes the universal frequency standard. Think of it like the ultimate metronome or tuning fork for the entire cosmos.
A benchmark.
Exactly. It sets the absolute scale against which all these vibrational patterns which manifest as matter and energy are measured and structured. It defines the very possibility of material existence through oscillation.
Okay, that's what reality is structured vibration, benchmarked by 2. But it still feels, I don't know, mechanical, like it could just be random vibrations. Why the order? Why stable structures like desks and planets and us?
Now you've hit the second major paradigm shift in the theory. This can't be explained by vibration alone, according to Aevum. This requires consciousness.
But consciousness usually comes after the complex structure, right?
Yeah.
Like brains develop, then consciousness emerges.
That's the standard view, yeah. Emergent property. But Aevum, drawing on people like Max Planck, flips that entirely. Planck famously said, I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness.
Wow. So consciousness comes first. It's not the result of the universe, it's the cause.
Or at least the fundamental organizer. It's not something that pops out of matter. Matter crystallizes out of patterns held in consciousness. Consciousness is the primary force imposing order on the underlying vibration.
Like a blueprint or a sculptor.
Yeah, sculptor shaping vibrational clay is a good image. It's the ordering principle. And this leads to their second core equation, the one that tries to capture this dynamic.
Okay, what's this one?
This one is 1 of AU equals CM22. Vibration equals consciousness multiplied by mass squared.
Whoa, okay. Different C this time. Not speed of light, but capital C consciousness.
Right.
How on earth do you measure consciousness with a capital C? Is that just symbolic or?
That's the tricky part, obviously. It's not like measuring volts or kilograms. Here, C, consciousness, is defined functionally. It represents the inherent ordering principle, the intelligence, the intent, if you like, that takes the potentiality of vibration and gives it specific form and structure. It's what collapses the infinite possibilities into observable reality.
Okay. The form giver.
Yeah.
And why mass squared? Why amplify the mass term so much?
In this equation, $2 represents the role of matter as a vibrational amplifier or anchor. The squaring signifies how profoundly important physical structure is in stabilizing and localizing consciousness. Think of it like mass gives consciousness a really solid foothold, a strong anchor point, allowing structure to persist across these different dimensions or layers of time the theory talks about.
So putting it together, you had the raw vibrational potential,
Yeah.
you have consciousness giving it form and order, and you have mass acting as a powerful anchor to make that form stick, to give it presence across dimensions.
You've got it. Vibration, consciousness, mass structure. It's presented as a complete metaphysical engine trying to explain the order we see emerging from that potentially chaotic infinity we talked about earlier.
It's elegant, I'll give it that.
Yeah.
But it also feels incredibly abstract. I mean, equations with consciousness as a variable. Is there anything tangible, any, empirical evidence or observations that Aevum points to and says, see, this fits?
It absolutely claims there is. The theory highlights two specific anchors, one very recent lab result and one everyday experience that it argues demonstrate the paradoxical layered nature of reality it describes.
All right, let's ground this a bit. Anchor number one. You mentioned freezing light. That sounds impossible. Is that the experiment from Italy?
Yeah, really recent stuff, 2024. And it wasn't slow light, which we've heard about before. These physicists actually managed to take light, which is pure electromagnetic vibration, right? And coax it into behaving like a solid, a crystal-like state.
Seriously,
Yeah.
light, acting like a solid. How do they describe it?
The descriptions are fascinating, especially for this theory. They said the state was rigid, like a solid, yet still flowing with the freedom of a liquid.
Wait, rigid and flowing,
Yeah.
solid and liquid. That sounds contradictory.
Exactly. And that's the key point Avum latches onto. It behaves like matter holding a structure, but it's still fundamentally light, pure energy. It embodies a paradox.
Okay, so how does Aevum connect this to its framework? Proof that vibration can become matter.
Precisely. It's presented as a direct empirical demonstration of the theory's core assertion. Vibration can condense into structured form. It highlights what the theory calls the living paradox, the idea that reality isn't either, it's fundamentally both hand.
Both hand, like fluid and rigid, infinite and finite.
Yes, and this experiment shows light itself embodying that paradox. If light can be structured like matter while remaining light, the boundary is permeable. Aevum then makes the analogy explicit. Light crystallizing into matter is like souls crystallizing into bodies.
Wow, okay, that does make the idea of consciousness, the ordering principle, stabilizing vibration into a physical body seem less fantastical, maybe, if light itself can be fixed temporarily.
It shifts the core concept from pure philosophy towards something potentially demonstrable, or at least analogous to physical phenomena. If light can hold contradictory states, maybe the whole system is built that way.
Which ties perfectly into the second anchor, right? The one we all live with,
Yeah.
the 2 million kilometer paradox.
Exactly. You're sitting there, maybe listening to this, feeling perfectly still, relaxed, grounded.
Yep, pretty still right now.
But objectively, planet Earth is whipping around the sun, the solar system is moving through the galaxy. Add it all up, and you, your body, everything around you is hurtling through space at something like 2 million kilometers per hour relative to the cosmic background.
It's an absurd speed when you think about it. And the contrast between that speed and my feeling of absolute stillness is jarring.
Jarring is a good word. Now, standard physics explains why we don't feel it. Relativity, frames of reference. We're moving with the system. But Aevum takes a different angle.
It's not just relativity.
Aevum says this isn't a problem to be explained away by physics equations. It's a revelation. It's direct, personal, experiential proof that reality is layered and our experience of time and motion is fragmented, not unified.
How so? Fragmented how?
It's vibrational. The reason you feel still is because your subjective awareness, your consciousness, is tuned primarily to the vibrational frequency of stillness relative to your immediate surroundings. The Earth's gravitational field, the room you're in, that's one layer.
Okay, the stillness layer.
But your physical body, the matter composing you, which is itself high-frequency vibration according to the theory, is simultaneously participating in a completely different vibrational layer. The layer of cosmic motion, that immense speed.
So, I'm existing on 2 different frequency bands at the exact same time. My internal feeling is still, my external reality is insanely fast.
That's the interpretation. You're embodying the paradox. And this, Aevum argues, shows that humans are inherently layered fragments vibrating at different frequencies. We're not singular beings on a single track. We're composites, experiencing multiple vibrational realities simultaneously.
And the proof is just Sitting still.
Yeah. That everyday contradiction becomes the evidence that this layered frequency-based model isn't just abstract, it reflects our lived felt experience. It grounds the whole thing.
Okay, so if reality is layered and our own experience of motion and time is fragmented, feeling still while moving fast, then the simple idea of time as a straight line, an arrow moving from past to future, that must be wrong,
Right.
or at least incomplete.
Exactly. If we're layered beings, maybe time is layered too. Aevum throws out the linear arrow model completely. It proposes that time is fundamentally a spiral staircase of consciousness.
A spiral staircase,
Ah.
not just a circle, repeating.
Right, that's a key difference. We've talked about cyclical models before, like Roger Penrose's conformal cyclic cosmology, CCC. That suggests universes end and restart in endless cycles, eons.
Yes, CCC implies things basically repeat, right? The conditions reset.
Largely, yes,
Yeah.
recurrence. But Aevum's spiral adds a crucial element. Evolution through recurrence. It's not just hitting replay.
How does the spiral allow evolution?
Think about walking up a spiral staircase. You keep coming back to the same point on the compass, the same XY coordinates, but each time you're higher up, you have a better view.
Oh, okay.
Aevum says time works like that. It's a learning spiral. The underlying universal consciousness doesn't just wipe the slate clean, it carries forward insights, lessons learned from previous loops. So reality revisits core themes, maybe big historical patterns or fundamental challenges, but it approaches them from a slightly higher perspective each time.
So there's actual progress. Slow, maybe,
Yeah.
but real cosmic evolution happening loop by loop.
That's the idea. It makes the whole cosmic process seem purposeful, not just endlessly repetitive.
Mhm.
But this immediately brings up a problem, doesn't it?
The memory overload.
Yeah.
If consciousness remembers everything from infinite past loops, parallel lives, other timelines,
Mm.
wouldn't it just be paralyzing chaos?
Exactly. How could you function? This is where the theory introduces sacred forgetting.
Sacred forgetting. So amnesia is a feature, not a bug.
Precisely. It's framed as a necessary protective mechanism, kind of built-in grace, like wiping your RAM before starting a new, complex task. You need a clean slate to focus.
So we forget our infinite past, our connection to everything, so we can fully immerse ourselves in this particular life, this loop of the spiral.
Yes, it allows for genuine discovery, real stakes, actual learning. Without sacred forgetting, there'd be no challenge, no growth, maybe even no real joy in remembering or figuring things out. It prevents being crushed by the weight of infinite knowledge.
It allows us to have a focused experience, even if we're part of something vast that already knows the outcome.
Okay.
This whole model layered reality, spiral time, consciousness, it then starts to redefine a lot of other concepts, things we usually think of as purely metaphorical or, religious.
Like what? Heaven and hell.
Exactly. Aevum says these aren't places you go to. They're not geographical locations in some other dimension.
Frequency. Yes. Different frequency layers are dimensions of existence that are right here, right now, coexisting with us. They cohabit reality simultaneously, just vibrating at different rates.
So accessing heaven or hell isn't about dying. It's about tuning your consciousness, like tuning a radio.
That's the core idea. If your dominant frequency is one of, say, fear, hatred, intense negativity, you are, in effect, experiencing a lower realm vibrationally, even while physically here. Conversely, achieving a state of profound peace, love, compassion, that's tuning into a higher realm.
So it's accessible now through changing your inner state, your vibrational frequency.
Through consciousness, intention, spiritual practice. Yeah, it's about vibrational density, not location.
What about other old concepts, like the firmament you sometimes read about in ancient texts, the dome separating Earth from the heavens?
Aevum reinterprets that as the veil plane.
The veil plane.
It's described as a dimensional membrane, a kind of vibrational barrier that separates different frequency layers. It acts like a filter. Yeah, protecting the lower, denser material frequency layer, our everyday reality, from being totally overwhelmed by the sheer intensity and information density of the higher frequency realms. And interestingly, it points to the physical clouds as the visible, symbolic representation of this veil plane. They literally obscure our view of the cosmos, filtering the light. It sees them as a physical metaphor for this vibrational veil that obscures and filters cosmic truth.
That's a powerful image. The clouds as a dimensional boundary marker.
Okay, looking outwards then. What about space? Is it just empty void in this model?
Not at all. Empty space is redefined as a cosmic graveyard.
A graveyard, that sounds ominous.
Maybe archive is a better word. It's not empty, it's packed. It's seen as a vast repository and archive of realities. It holds the echoes, the memories, past existences, and time echoes from all previous cycles, all timelines.
Like the universe's hard drive, imprinted with everything that's ever happened. Kind of, yeah. Think of the cosmic microwave background radiation, the faint echo of the Big Bang. Aevum suggests space itself holds much more detailed information, the residual vibrational signatures of everything. It's a multidimensional map for consciousness.
So looking at the stars isn't looking at emptiness, it's looking at history,
Yeah.
potential futures.
A vast library of vibrational history,
Yeah.
yeah. And even something as simple as day and night gets a cosmic meaning.
How so?
They're seen as the rhythmic pulse of the multiverse, the constant oscillation between expansion, daytime, outward focus activity, and contraction. Nighttime, inward focus, rest, integration. The whole system breathes in and out.
Okay, we've got this huge cosmic architecture. Layered reality, spiral time, vibrating consciousness. Now, how does this apply to us? To the individual self and our weird subjective experiences that don't always fit a neat linear model.
Right, this is where the spiral time concept really comes into play to explain some of those non-linear human moments, like déjà vu, that really strange feeling, I've been here before, done this before.
Yeah, it's unsettling. Psychology usually explains it as like a memory glitch, right? Brain wires crossing for a second.
That's the standard take, but Aevum offers a different perspective based on the spiral. It interprets déjà vu as a momentary sensory bleed-through.
Bleed through. From where?
From an adjacent loop in the spiral, or maybe a preceding one. Remember, the spiral brings you back to similar themes or coordinates, just from a slightly higher vantage point. So the current moment might resonate very strongly with a similar situation from a past life, or even a closely related parallel timeline. It's an echo.
An echo from another turn of the spiral. Huh. Okay, what about synchronicities? Those meaningful coincidences that just feel too perfect.
Yeah, running into the exact right person, thinking of someone and they call, seeing the same unusual symbol 3 times in a day, Carl Jung territory.
Right. Not just random chance, it feels significant.
Aevum explains synchronicities as moments of harmonic resonance. Your personal vibrational path, your frequency at that moment, happens to align perfectly. It intersects with a larger resonant pattern flowing through the multiverse.
So it's like hitting a resonant note, a sign you're in tune with the flow.
Exactly. It's seen as a confirmation, not just a coincidence. A sign that your frequency is aligned with the unfolding cosmic pattern at that point.
This vibrational way of thinking must also change how we understand things like karma and destiny, right? Those often come with heavy moral baggage.
Totally. The framework shifts them away from judgment and towards energetics, towards resonance. Take karma. Traditionally, it's often seen as reward or punishment for past deeds.
Right, cosmic scorekeeping.
Aevum reframes karma as simply the imprint of our vibrational choices on the cosmic spiral. Every thought, intention, action sends out a frequency, creates an energetic signature. That signature persists. It leaves a trace in the fabric of reality.
And like attracts like.
Pretty much. That vibrational imprint naturally draws similar frequencies, similar experiences back to you maybe later in this life, maybe in a future loop of the spiral. It's not punishment. It's the universe reflecting your own output back to you. A law of vibrational attraction.
Okay, so it's more physics than morality.
Yeah.
What about destiny then? Is everything predetermined if time is a spiral?
Not rigidly predetermined, no. Destiny isn't seen as a fixed script you have to follow. It's described as a resonance pattern.
A pattern that emerges.
Yes, it emerges organically based on how your specific frequency aligns with the overall flow of the multiverse, the current set by previous loops. Think of it like a riverbed.
The riverbed is the general path, the destiny.
Yeah, the overall direction might be shaped by past events, previous loops.
Yeah.
But how you navigate that river, whether you crash into the rocks or find the smooth current, depends on your alignment, your frequency, your choices now. Destiny becomes the path of least resistance that opens up when you're in vibrational harmony with the larger flow.
So there's structure, but also agency within it.
Yeah.
We can tune our experience of the path.
Exactly. Which brings us right to the core question. Who are we then in this model, if we're vibrating fragments on a learning spiral?
What's the definition of a human being?
The theory offers a pretty profound definition. You are the multiverse remembering itself.
Wow. Okay. Say more about that.
You're not just this isolated bag of skin that lives and dies. You are a focal point, a unique point of perspective through which the entire universe, the universal consciousness, experiences itself, gathers data, learns, evolves.
So my individual experience is actually the cosmos experiencing itself through me.
That's the essence. It makes identity incredibly fluid, vast, multidimensional. You are a spiral of time fragments of frequency, temporarily anchored in a physical body.
And death, then? It can't be an end, can it?
Not an end to consciousness, no. Physical death is seen as a transition, a shift in perspective. Awareness simply detaches from that particular physical anchor, that specific reality thread, and potentially shifts its focus to another point within that infinite library of souls stored in the cosmic graveyard. The frequency signature just finds a new focus.
So, if identity is cosmic and death is a transition, what's the purpose of being here? Is there a goal?
The purpose isn't reaching some final destination because consciousness is already infinite and eternal. The purpose is the experiencing. It's about contributing your unique thread of awareness, your specific frequency pattern, and the lessons learned through it back into the whole cosmic tapestry.
The journey is the destination.
Pretty much. And crucially, we have agency in that journey. We're not just passive experiencers. We can actively access higher or lower realms, the theory says, by consciously tuning our frequency through consciousness, intention, and spiritual practice.
We hold the tuning knob.
We do, which leads to a really interesting take on creativity, on art.
How does art fit in?
Art is framed not just as self-expression or aesthetics, but as a form of sacred technology.
Technology. How?
Creative acts, painting, music, writing, dance, are seen as a way of remembering out loud. The artist, when truly inspired, is thought to be tapping into that cosmic memory, bypassing the logical mind and sacred forgetting and channeling echoes from the spiral.
Channeling memories from past loops.
Or parallel timelines or higher frequency insights, yeah. They embed these resonant frequencies into their creations, into the painting, the song, the poem, and these creations then act as tools.
Tools for what?
Tools to awaken others, to heal, to shift the collective frequency. Art becomes a technology for transmitting cosmic memory and facilitating remembrance in those who experience it. The artist is a vital conduit.
Okay, we've covered a massive amount of ground, from the physics of multiverses to consciousness being fundamental, spiral time, vibrational identity. We started out looking for a unified framework, maybe the answer, but it sounds like the EM theory concludes differently.
It really does. The ultimate answer it offers isn't a neat, tidy solution that resolves everything. According to this framework, the answer is the paradox itself.
The meaning is the contradiction.
Yes. True wisdom, it suggests, comes not from solving the paradoxes, but from embodying them, living within that living dance of opposites, recognizing that reality is fundamentally built on both hands.
Both physics and metaphysics, finite and infinite.
Exactly. Holding those tensions. You have to simultaneously grasp that you are, on one level, infinitely important. You're literally the universe experiencing itself. And on another level, you're cosmically insignificant, just one tiny frequency flutter in an ocean of infinities.
Finite body, eternal consciousness, feeling still while moving at impossible speeds.
Holding both truths without needing one to cancel the other out, that's the core wisdom. And this leads to what the theory calls the cosmic joke.
The cosmic joke sounds slightly cynical.
Not necessarily cynical, more like profoundly ironic. The joke is that we are these infinite, eternal, potentially all-knowing beings, but for the game to work, for the experience to be meaningful,
We have to agree to forget. Sacred forgetting.
we have to purposefully limit ourselves, enter this finite, seemingly linear reality, precisely so we can have the experience, the profound joy of remembering who we are. Through the challenges, the struggles, the discoveries.
So the struggle isn't a mistake, it's the setup. The contrast needed to appreciate the remembering.
That's the idea. The challenges, the hardships, the confusion, they aren't random flaws in the system. They are coded awakenings. They're like breadcrumbs left on the path, specifically designed to trigger that process of remembrance, to guide us back up the spiral.
The suffering only happens because we forgot, and the joy of awakening only happens because we had to search and strive.
Right. The challenges are the very mechanism that allows the infinite to have a finite experience, and then the joy of rediscovering the infinite.
So the final takeaway for someone listening, it's not about finding the right answer to eliminate the contradictions in life.
No. The goal isn't to solve the paradox. The goal is to become the paradox, to live it consciously. The theory puts it bluntly. The paradox is not your discovery, it is your DNA.
It's just the nature of things.
Yeah.
Beautiful, maybe confusing, but fundamental.
And accepting that, embodying that,
Yeah.
That's where the power lies, according to Aevum. You stop fighting the perceived limitations and start consciously working with your frequency, your consciousness within this paradoxical infinite playground. You start tuning. Hashtag tag tag outro.
Wow, that was a lot. A really deep dive. We've covered such enormous territory today, from the scientific foundation's eternal inflation, many worlds, that dizzying scale.
Right, infinite bubbles, branching timelines, then diving into Evum's core, vibration is primary, consciousness is the ordering principle, one you'll see M to 2.
And grounding it with things like the frozen light experiment showing vibration can become matter-like, and that feeling of stillness versus cosmic speed, the 2 million-kilometer Archie paradox.
Yeah, using those as anchors for this idea of layered reality, then mapping out the cosmic architecture. Time as a learning spiral, not a line. Sacred forgetting.
Redefining heaven and hell as frequencies, space as this cosmic graveyard archive, even day and night as cosmic breaths.
And finally, bringing it all down to the self. Deja vu and synchronicity as echoes and resonances, karma and destiny as vibrational patterns.
And that core identity. You are the multiverse remembering itself. Death as transition, purpose as experience, art as sacred tech.
Yeah, it fundamentally reframes the cosmos not as something external, but as a participatory system, where consciousness isn't just watching the show, it's shaping it, and where challenges aren't problems, they're invitations, coded awakenings.
Okay, so as we wrap up, here's maybe one final thought for you, the listener, to take away and maybe play with. If this model holds any truth, if your core being is a unique vibrational note in this immense spiraling universe,
And if your frequency really does shape your reality, your path, your resonance with destiny.
then what new harmonies, what slightly different frequencies could you consciously choose to play right now, today? Even a subtle shift. How might that change your experience of the dance? How might it shift the paradox itself, just for you?